Hello, my lovely people. So, in today's podcast, I'm going to talk about it's not talking, it's more like I'm including you in my session. I'm including you in my research. I'm including you in the talk with my spirit. Like, I'm including you in a daily thing that I do or something that I usually do, but I'm like, let me just take the microphone and just address the thought out loud to people on a podcast. So I wanted to talk more about death. I want to see more about death and how do people die, what do they feel like, how do they feel when they die, and all of that. Because one thing I noticed as a psychic, diseased one, and I spoke about diseased one like in other podcasts, like how to know, they are different. They're totally different. Different energy, different way of communication, different things, different vibe to them, different spirit, like different energy in general, right? So each diseased person, when they die, like you get like this different vibe from them. Some of them, they're like just died and they're like very confused. They kind of like very confused. The others are just like they died and they're not confused. They're not confused about what's going on. Like some of them is just like they take a little bit of time, like a day or 2 or 3 to understand. Like I don't think you know how weird it is, because as a psychic, I've done a lot of readings for like people who want to ask about deceased loved one, or like pick a card for deceased loved one and all of that. And I have a lot of things also around me, like I have family members who passed away, and in general, like I had a period in my life where I did not know how to stop them and how to kick them off. That was like a short period, like 2 weeks or something. It was just too much because I was thinking too much about it, and then I just ended up picking up every fucking dead person around me, or like recently just died. And sometimes it's very weird because around the highway I would be like listening to my music, and then I'm like, oh damn, like there's someone inside the car near me, and I feel that person talking to me, saying like things and talking to me like a soul. And then when you see, like you go past and you see like an accident, like this person just died. This literally like the sixth sense. But so I'm like, today I'm going to talk about this topic, but I want to discuss more into it because it just feels like it's a very interesting thing. And I don't want to say like each diseased person, but there's like group. I started to really put them in groups because there's like a group A, people who die, but they know how to talk to you, and they talk and they're very confused on what they're supposed to do, which is very weird to me because that group, this group is not my first group to talk to. But it was just a weird feeling that because I met like group of people like, they're diseased, they know, they're trying to talk to their loved one, they're trying to say something, they're trying to send you a message, they know their past life. This is like my perspective on like a diseased person. They know that they're like, they know what they are, they know where they are, right? But like to notice that there's other diseased one who are like, hey, what am I supposed to do? And I don't know if it's a process, but then I realized that some of them really need that, either they need a few days to understand what they're supposed to do. And that's why, oh my God, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what is it, but I do feel like your intuition and your soul really plays a role. Like, how bad you are as a person or how blind your intuition is plays a role when you die, if it makes sense, on navigating. So I'm just not sure about it, but so far I'm seeing that. But this is my opinion, and I'm talking to Spirit, and Spirit telling me answers, right? So I like to think alone, and then I'm like, hey Spirit, what do you think? And then Spirit telling me something. I'm like, oh, that's really weird. I try to think about it, what Spirit's saying, how to apply it on that. So I really did not ask much about it since I had a lot of death in my family and all of that. But today I wanted to just look more into it, because one thing I noticed, like, recently, this is like a group, let's call it group D, I don't know. There's another group of people who died that they just really don't even know how to communicate. And I'm like, that's so bizarre. That's so bizarre. Like, when I say they don't know how to communicate, that you would not even know that they're there. Like, you would not sense their presence around you. They don't know how to send you signs. They don't know how to communicate, which is the simplest thing to do, like communicate, right? With you, like, you just communicate. You're dead, you communicate. Nobody hears you. Like, a psychic would hear you, a medium would hear you, right? A psychic medium will hear you, like, people will be intuitive and they will feel you, but there's a group of them that you really need to be like, oh, let me acknowledge that energy, let me read that person, let me read that dead person. Like, they don't know even how to communicate. That's like far away. Doing a lot of reading, if you notice, I don't do any longer deceased people reading, because it just gives me like this annoying feeling. It's like I'm sitting in a room full of people and they're like, oh, they're talking. I don't know how to explain it. It could be I'm just very like sensitive to energy. But I stopped a while ago. I did not do, I think, on my channel, a deceased loved one reading. But there's those deceased one who almost feel like spirit, and they're like not spirit. They're not spirit. And sometimes also some psychic mediums, they really will mistake those deceased one with a spirit. And they're not spirit. They're just like they're haunting you for something that they really want you to do. And some of them are just very manipulative, and some of them they're very not manipulative. They're good, but they're controlling. So point is, deceased one, they are a soul without a body, but they still act like a soul. So some of them are very manipulative. Some of them is like they can see something coming to you in the future. They want to block it. Some of them, they see something coming to you. They see that, oh my God, they fucked up something with you. They don't feel like, oh, they kind of want to fuck up something. They want you to come back to life. And they keep saying that and making a bad decision. So you would be stuck with them and their karma would be less, and they will fix some karma. So if you notice that, like sometimes someone will come to me in a reading and be like, I have this soul that haunted me, telling me like I have to date that person, and this is my like go there. It's almost like very weird, right? Like it's kind of like they're trying to take your path and life to a certain place. So you have those things, and there's the most really annoying thing that I feel like a lot of psychics do have that, and I keep warning people about it because there's this ancestor thing. Like you kind of feel like they are spirit, but they're not. They're very controlling. They're very forceful. At a certain point, when you're a psychic and you're very intuitive, you're gonna reach to this level where like someone is forcing some kind of like beliefs. It's like out of nowhere. Like out of nowhere, you know something. Out of nowhere, you just like know how to do something. This is an ancestor thing, right? So, for example, for me, this is gonna sound creepy, but for me there's a lot of things. But for example, I'm trying to like look for a better simple example. Okay, let's just talk about ancestors, because you're going to see like sometimes psychic can be like, oh, your ancestors and spirit, there's a huge difference. And do not fall for that, because ancestors, they're not bad, and let me tell you, and they're not bad. But at a certain point, when I stopped doing deceased one reading, because I'm like, what the fuck is that? Then you look around and you really talk to those people and you're like, no, this is wrong. Yeah, this is right, but I don't want to do that. This is not my belief. Like, you really need to go back to life. And this is very sad, but this is something that I discovered. Whether like you feel like, I feel like this podcast is more like for psychics, but there's something I discovered that there is, which is very sad. There are souls who get stuck not knowing how to go to their next life, thinking this is their purpose now, is to haunt you and to be spirit. And like, can you imagine just being there stuck with like thinking that you're spirit, or you thinking that you have to deliver a message? And then when I said that, I'm like, no. They're like, oh, thank you. I just realized that. Like, I heard someone saying thank you. And I was like, I tried to discuss it. Not like just saying that. I tried to discuss it. And then this energy just disappeared. So, I stopped doing deceased people readings, and I have like, I think at a certain point I had like a higher charge for doing deceased people reading, because sometimes someone will come to me and they want to like ask about their, I don't know, dead grandma, dad, whoever, and I'm like, holy fuck, like there's a sudden fucking creepy energy around you that's just like that. And how to explain to someone that you're deceased one when I tell you that and that's just in a normal case. There's a lot of cases we want to just tell you a message, and I'm like, sometimes it's just that person is evil. Yeah, I understand that person is just like from your life, but when they die, they also, a lot of them do remember why they came to life, and do remember who you were, and you don't understand. It's just like, to just sum it up, deceased ones who come back to life, deceased one, like a soul is a soul. You are you without your body. So whatever humans can do, manipulate, get stuck, souls do too. Okay? That's what I want to sum this podcast on. But today I'm just going to ask Spirit about certain things. You know that I had a near-death experience, and that time was like an awful thing. I did not mention the story to anybody, but like I was in an ambulance and everybody said like I was dying that moment, right? I was dying, and everybody was looking at me freaking out. I do remember people crying and all of that, and all I was like, there's this fucking weird thing. Like, I don't know what is it, but it's just like you're sitting and you're having this heat, like you're almost like sexual heat, like you're having an orgasm, like something like going to reach to a climax, but then you're like calm down, trying to calm yourself down. You don't know where it comes from. And this is what happened to my body. It's almost like you feel like you're reaching a climax, and then you feel heated, but in a, like exactly like how you have sex, but the good sex, not bad sex, but exactly how you have sex, and then it gets back. And then I didn't know what happened. I was like, and then they took me to the hospital, obviously, and all of that, but they told me that I was dying that time. So, and I'm like, it does feel like an orgasm, but that's why, like, it feels like an orgasm, but it does make sense, right? Because a lot of time, like, you hear, like, people saying, like, you connect with someone, and it's kind of like death when you have sex with someone. You're sharing energy, and, like, you have sex for a reason with someone that you love, and it's almost like your souls are connecting in that moment. If it was a good sex, right? Or something about it is connecting, obviously. I don't know, but that's what I felt, right? So I'm like, okay, death itself is not bad. Like, it would feel like that. It would feel like that. Really, just, this is how your soul leaving your body. And I didn't ask a lot about it. I just thought, like, just because it was like, my father passed away, my grandparents passed away, and it was just like a whole fucking roller coaster that I'm just like trying to stay away from the title, even though that most of the time I'm haunted. But I'm discovering more and more things about like death and souls. Souls are very unique. Like, you are unique on this earth, right? Like, each soul is very unique. Each person is very unique. Their intuition is very different. Their soul is very different. When I say their soul are very different, it means that somehow your soul chose a path to be with your soul tribe, and you're a different energy. So it tells me that, let's say, like, after life, like after things are ended, right? You have a soul tribe that you're connecting with after life, after things are ended. Like, you don't have another life or next life, or God knows where you go, right? Like, after like that, there is, like, for my case, I know where I'm gonna go, what's my energy, but it just tells me that each energy is different. It feels like somehow you're on this earth to choose what energy in the universe you're going to be, right? And your soul tribe and your spirit basically are similar to that energy. And this is something that I really discovered when it comes to my soul tribe and the people that I'm meant to be with and who I am. As like, I know what am I gonna be and who I'm gonna be after like life. Like, after like, finishing all my lifetimes and all of that. And I know that because I'm just very certain. And it's just weird, right? So today we're going to ask Spirit without talking more about my ideas and all. Let me drink my coffee. An energy to, a podcast to explore energy. And I just feel like the thing is, I love science and I love all of that. I've always been very obsessed with science and, reading book about outer space, black holes and all of that. And if you read them, it's like, this missing piece that it's like, how can we go there without dying? How can we go there? It's like there is this connection that you can connect science to spirituality because it makes more sense. There's a lot of logic in everything that, everything a spiritual person is feeling, or everything spiritual. There's a logic and energy, because if you going to read a lot of books about black holes and all of that, and they're like, traveling through, they discovered there's could be a different universe. There's a black hole, goes you cannot travel through the black hole unless if you're at speed of light, blah blah blah. Yeah, because unless if you're a spirit, unless if you died, right? So it tells you that you go somewhere, but you're not magically gonna go somewhere unless your energy matching something, right? And it tells you that not each soul can go certain direction. That's why we all have different energy controlling us, because we're not all. Yeah, it's almost like you cannot move away from a bath of energy. Yeah, you have your soul and everything, like your zodiac, your chart. You have a bath of energy that is there. It's almost like this is your bath. And if you look more into the universe and all of that in science, this is your bath, where you're going to go, why were you born, your soul was there. So it's like, imagine you're dead, but you're stuck in a bath of energy. And your soul comes around this bath of energy that you're supposed to come. So it's almost like there's someone controlling that bath, whether it's you want to call it spirit, God, or God knows what, or it's your own decisions, right? This is your own decision. This is your own energy, what you created. And it's all very logical. It's all very logical. I would say there's a lot of logic in it. There's a lot of logic. And I'm the most logical person. And since I've been a psychic since God knows when, since I was a child, but there's things that were not making sense to me. So I try to make sense of what the fuck is that? How the fuck do I know that? And I'm someone who's very logical. I'm very nerdy, in equations, math, and all of that. I got the top in all schools in my country, in high school, math. I'm someone who's I like to have logic. I like to have things that gonna be equal, I like to do that. And when I like to think about something, I'm not I feel this. I'm trying to also understand it, right? And I love researching things like that. I love researching things like that and understanding. But, for example, I made this thing, I made this understanding of you always have a challenge, and if your challenge became harder in a lifetime, your next lifetime you get rewarded by a different energy that going to challenge you to pass those challenges. You could be a water sign in a past life, but your rising sign is whatever. You have an energy, right? It's almost the energy is an energy boost that you're going to need. It's okay, you're going to need extra energy off that. It's almost whatever you do, it's all your actions are leading to a certain energy bath. You do understand what I'm talking about. So it tells you that even if you're going to die, your soul is going a different direction than other souls sometimes. So it does not mean you're going to meet each other, but you're just a different energy also when you die, where you are. where you're gonna go. So it tells me also when you finish, like you have your soul tribe, you have people that you connect with. This is a choice, right? And then when you finish, you're all together doing something. Like there's like a way to go somewhere, and it's just an energy that's going to take you there, speed of light. But you don't go this direction. There's a lot of black holes, there's things. You don't go that direction. All your decisions take you somewhere. And I'm not religious. I don't have any religion. I'm very spiritual. But in religion, you gotta respect religion somehow. Yeah, no, I don't take it literally, but in religion, you have a prophet in each religion, right? And each prophet, to me at least, is my belief, is somehow a intuitive psychic person, right? Who somehow in their own words made an understanding of something and they wrote something, whether like you want to agree with it or not. It's kind of like they put in effort to understand certain things. I go against certain religions, of course, and things there. I feel like it could be like ego-based, like it's like my own opinion. Like there's things on some religions like ego-based. It could be a certain thing, like it's just an ego base or whatever, but there's like a belief there. So you gotta go with this effort, right? So I feel like, to me, like I also like to look into religion. I looked on a lot of religions. So you gotta look at the concept of hell and heaven. It is true, but it's not a literal hell to me. Like I see diseased people, it's like you do bad, you get blinded. When you die, you're more in darkness. And you're more in darkness. But if you're going to do this for so long, and let's say you do this for so long, your vibration is somehow stuck with different vibrations that you're going to go somewhere else, right? You're going to be somewhere else. You chose to be something else. It's almost like everybody choose a path, choose what they want to be, choose where they want to be, choose the things that they want to be in the universe when they're a spiritual being after like living a lot of lives. And there's certain things that I gotta say. Recently, in some diseased people, I had this weird feeling. And also, that's it for another podcast. But from that soul who died, that kind of made something click in my head that, oh, okay, I get the concept of hell. But know what to do. Like, it's almost like your soul always have a choice. Even if you reach so dark and you have like a lot of lives of whatever shit, bad thing, it's like almost like you're going to your karma in life, and this is bad. Life is basically going through hell, but it's not literal hell. It's like small hell, like small things that you didn't want to learn. And if you go bad and bad and bad, the more like you go bad, like for example you're a narcissist or whatever, you create some sort of hell that's just so hard to look through. And you think like, and sometimes like you die, and it's like a challenge for you to come back to life. It's not like in an ancestor way that they think they're spirit, but they have this challenge, so they come back to life. After that, they can be spirit or whatever. They're a good spirit. They still good spirit, right? They're trying to spread a good message, but you're stuck there. At a certain point, your intuition is so blinded that you don't know how to come back to life. And I've seen this happen, and I was like, that's so confusing. And it's like you're just there on earth or whatever. It sounds like you blind yourself, and that's really hell. But also, you do have a choice. It sounds like you need to accept a lot of things, right? So, and I'm saying that from experiencing things that I've done, like in reading people, reading diseased people, also dealing with, voodoo. Told you I lived in a haunted house. My grandma used to do a lot of voodoo, so I know how it feels. I know what is there. I know how an entity feels and seen certain things, behavior and entities, behavior and certain voodoos are different than other voodoos. And I'm experienced with that feeling, and I'm experienced with whatever feeling people give me, and I'm experienced with spirit. So I know exactly how a soul feels, It's just I rather not talk to these people. I don't talk to my spirit. Spirit are very calm. They just feel like spirit. They don't feel like a soul. They don't feel like human. They feel like spirit. And I just talk spirit. No bullshit, no ancestors, no shit, right? Basically, also their souls were they've done bad, but if they have certain lives to go through, it's almost like they do bad in one aspect, they have a karmic lesson in one aspect, go back, whether there's love or something, they're not so bad, but it's just it's just a sea. I'll tell you, it's a sea of things. You always gotta respect certain messages and not make it your roof. You be the roof of it. I always say that. Religion, everything. That work that they put there. So trying to understand. At least someone tried to understand what is this energy around them. Someone tried to understand who's talking to them. Is it God talking to me? Is it spirit? Someone tried to understand. You have prophets. Someone tried to understand. There's certain warnings and certain things. It does not mean to me that everything that they said is true. That they try to explain it. It's almost like they try to explain it. You don't take it literal. They try to explain an energy to you, right? So whatever you want to, you gotta believe in whatever you want to, right? Whatever makes you feel good. And I'll say as long as a religion makes you feel good, makes you feel you have faith, a purpose, go with it, because it could be also your life purpose. You wanted to understand this religion and this life. Whatever you feel whatever makes you feel happy, And whatever makes you feel happy, but do not make it control you, do not make it forceful. Do not make a religion be forceful, oh, I'm gonna go to hell if I don't do that. You need to understand what is your hell, what is your soul wants, what was the thing that your soul came for, right? This is the thing that I try to make people understand. You have a purpose. Let me ask Spirit, what do they think about that? Yeah, Spirit said it's almost like Spirit saying something weird right now. It's almost like your soul's like a rock. It does not really melt or go anywhere. It's just there, And literally, this is what Spirit's saying, and they're really making sense right now in a little bit, because they're saying okay, you die, your soul is there. Basically, they're trying to say your soul's walking near you, something like that. It's like a rock. It sounds like you're on gravity, your soul's on gravity, or something like that. That's what we're trying to say. Yeah. I feel it does move fast and everything. Of course, you would not need a car as a soul, right? But I do feel what they're trying to say, the Spirit's trying to say, they're saying that it's your soul is really gravitating towards a certain energy, gravity, but it's not gravity. So when you die, that's what I spoke about, right? You really create something in your soul, your body is gravitating towards a gravity, and your soul is toward an energy that you created. And this is where you are. This is literally the right words that Spirit said. And I feel this is what I'm trying to explain. You do create an energy, and you just get pulled to. Whether it's good or bad, or just good, and it's your bath. And there's certain people, certain energy. Anyway, we're going to finish this podcast later on. Bye.